I thought, wouldn't it be exciting to communicate with a chimp and find out what it was thinking? So why not teach him sign language?
There was no family discussion. It was just, oh, we're having a chimp. We're going to teach a sign language. Nobody in the house really was fluent in sign language.
Bob, thank you for joining us.
Sure.
We're here today to talk about Project Nim and Nim, who's a very special chimp. Can you tell us a bit about when you first met Nim and what point in his life he was kind of going through quite a tough time?
Yeah, I actually met Nim in September of '77, and as you see in the film, when he comes back to the Institute for Primate Studies in Norman, Oklahoma. Man, I felt bad for him. I knew that he needed somebody, and you know, we had our work cut out for us. When you take a chimpanzee away from other chimps, it becomes an extreme problem. I mean, their culture is dependent upon being around other chimps, not just one or two, but a group.
I know nothing about chimpanzees. Herb wanted me to take Nim into my home as if he were a child. The fact that we could share language with an animal seemed very radical at that time.
Now, 35 years later, we realize that chimps ought not be in clothes, and they ought to not be on TV commercials. They ought to not be in movies, you know, and that sort of thing. We didn't know that then.
Everything was about treating him like a human being. He liked alcohol. He loved driving fast in cars. I breastfed him for a couple of months. It seemed completely natural.
You seem to have this great connection, and we see in the documentary the footage of you and Nim hanging out. Was it an instant connection with Nim, or did it take a while for him to...
It was pretty instant. And as it turns out, Nim had a huge personality. You know, I knew the kind of things that I needed to know not to get bitten, you know, to discipline him when he needed it.
Yeah, because you're quite rough with him. In the footage you see, you know, you're very, it's playful.
I was a chimp.
Yeah.
If you've ever observed chimpanzees, they're very, very rough and tumble. Most humans that work with chimpanzees can't pull off that rough and tumble play with chimps because they don't know exactly at the moment at which to stop, change the subject, like go, whoa, so that they don't bite you or whatever.
Yeah.
And you know, because you really don't want to be bitten.
Nim gone from being this meek little huggable toy to a robust young chimpanzee.
He's going to be big, 5 to 6 times the strength of a man.
He's got fangs.
This is 37 stitches.
In that sense, he was becoming more chimp-like.
How did you feel when you were approached about the project and being interviewed for the first time?
I was nervous. You know, I didn't necessarily want to turn over my own home movies to a film. And James came to see me in San Francisco from Copenhagen, which I thought was just amazing. He's willing to come all the way to San Francisco just to talk.
How did you feel when you saw the documentary complete for the first time?
I acted like a baby.
Did you?
I cried from the moment it started to the moment it ended.
Do you think Nim had happy last days?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, as happy as it could be under the circumstances. I do think that if we had 10 more years, it could have got pretty darn close to perfect.
Bob, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
I had never regarded him as a child. I regarded him as a scientific project. Nobody keeps a chimp for more than 5 years.
The reality of it is it's not a doll, it's not a toy, it's not a human, it's a chimp.